Ask any who worked with or for Rob Bovell during his career, and the image portrayed is always that of an urbane, mannered, dapper, polite and gracious man of exemplary character, fair and impartial, but with a steely resolve not to be confused with his amenable presentation. Bovell was a strong, courageous administrator who, as CEO of the WA Trotting Association, had often to battle the wills of boards, governments and committees, yet found a method to do it peacefully whilst usually getting his way. He never took a backward step, but nor did he make enemies, and in his time at the helm of harness racing in the West, he achieved significant milestones. Rob Bovell learned the industry from the inside out, commencing as the junior office boy at Gloucester Park in 1969 and ending his service in 2012, 43 years on. From the start, he used his innate determination to succeed by educating himself to multiple facets of the sport's administration and function, including how racing was conducted, accounting practices, stewarding, and the IT department. It was in the latter field in particular that Bovell would forge important inroads for trotting. Grasping early the likely impact of the new technology of computers, in 1976 he was given the opportunity to explore his ideas as WATA Office and Computer Operations Manager, and under his guidance the WATA would eventually introduce the first computer-driven harness racing management system in the world. Then, in 1979, he left the WATA to take up the position of Secretary Manager of the Fremantle Trotting Club at Richmond Raceway. He worked there for a decade before returning to the WATA and Gloucester Park as Chief Executive Officer in 1989, soon after the Perth Inter-Dominion won by Jodies Bay. A couple of years later, with the closure of Richmond Raceway, Bovell oversaw the amalgamation of the Fremantle Trotting Club and the WATA. Back in 1989, when he rejoined Gloucester Park, Bovell was almost immediately confronted with the retirement of long-time course commentator George Griličić, and one of his initial projects was to supply the framework for the new commentator, John Hunt, to reimagine the electronic media presentation of WA harness racing. Before long, Gloucester Park became the first track in the nation to incorporate recorded pre-race interviews for CCTV and live trackside interviews, produce historical and promotional documentary films for television and public sale, and secure a vastly expanded radio broadcast service on ABC statewide in Western Australia. Perhaps the most difficult achievement of Rob Bovell in his 23 years as industry CEO was to maintain an equitable share of TAB distribution for the trots. It was a never-ending battle, however one that he never tired of fighting, and he earned the respect of all his peers for doing so. Bovell also managed the hosting of 3 Inter-Dominion championships in 1996, 2004 and 2012, the last being the hugely successful edition won by pacing great I'm the Mighty Quinn. Subsequent to that series, the Inter-Dominion Event Committee quickly recognised Bovell's passionate support of the Inters by presenting him with the Brian Hancock Distinguished Service Award, which followed on from his 2008 Harness Racing Australia Distinguished National Service Award. For his remarkable contribution to West Australian harness racing, Bovell was accorded the state's highest honour, the James Brennan Award, upon his retirement in 2012. Now, the journey is complete as Rob Bovell joins the hallowed assemblage in WA Racing's Hall of Fame.